that can discern the times and the seasons. For Lord, even this season, we lift up your name as we celebrate the coming birth of your Son. So Lord, we bless tonight, we bless this council, we lift it all before you. In your name we pray. Amen. Join me in the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's begin with roll call for the record. Start off with Councilman Najoumian.
Present.
Councilman Schatzel.
Present.
Councilwoman Alley.
Here.
Council Williams is here. Councilman Donahue.
Here.
All present. First item on the agenda, Dan, approval of minutes.
Yes, sir. Approval of minutes. We had a regular council meeting on November 14, 2023. Planning Commission, December 4, 2013. 2023, excuse me. Local planning agency, we did not have a meeting.
Move approval.
Second.
Schatzel has the motion. Najoumian has a second. All right, discussion. There are no further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, Dan, we'll go to the Youth Advisory Council update.
Will you be covering that?
I know, young Andrew will be coming forward to update us. As Andrew makes his way to the microphone, we had a light crowd tonight. We were missing our chair and our vice chair, and Andrew volunteered to step up as an executive member. So as he gives his update, this is his first one, so please give him a little bit of grace.
All right. I'm Andrew Conrad, and I'm representing the Niceville Youth Advisory Council. Today we held our monthly meeting, and we went over past volunteer opportunities and experiences as well as future ones. This Thursday we created ornaments for the Twin Cities Pavilion home, and we plan on passing those out to the fine folks that live there. We also have been presented with the dates for the legislative action days, and those are days in which we go to the Capitol in Tallahassee and learn about how all this really operates and how to present a point and get it passed through the House and kind of the process that a bill takes to get passed. We also coordinated future events. We have yet to vote on them, but we plan on either helping out at a pet shelter and help them clean and help the animals get adopted. We also plan on helping out at caring and sharing, whether it be donating food and supplies to them or helping build care packages to give out. We plan on doing that February or March because it's after the holidays, and during the holidays many people give, but after the message kind of gets lost and there's not much to help sustain. We also submitted our video for the 2023 Florida City Council to kind of show what Niceville is and what it's about. The video was, unfortunately, a little bit late, but in my opinion, it was still a very good video. We showed off Niceville's natural beauty and what it stands for, being a military community, and we showed off the school systems and all that. And that's about it. Thank you.
Questions from the council?
Yes, sir. When it comes to Rocky Bayou and Niceville,
So for Rocky, we don't really have an in there. None of us really go there. The majority of us either go to Niceville High School or Collegiate at the college. Recruitment could be better. We could be putting out the message more, but as of now, it's kind of just through word of mouth. One person tells their friends, they tell the other friends. But this year, recruitment really has taken a step forward. Last year at this time, there was 6 people. We only had 1 in the audience. And now we have, on a good day, about 9 or 10 people. So that's an additional 5 people in the audience that carry on the program. But as of advertising, we could be doing better. We could be making a greater initiative to put it on the announcements or the TV screens throughout the school. So, really.
So Carl, that's a great answer, and you guys have done a super job. You've almost doubled really the number of folks that are active. Every year it's a struggle. We try to, 4 main sources. We've got Niceville High School, Collegiate. We seem to do well with those 2. We've opened it up for kids that have been homeschooled. We actually had to change our charter to make it clear that they were also welcome, as well as Rocky. I personally talked to administrators at Rocky years ago, haven't really gotten any traction. So anything that anyone can do to spread the word, everyone who's here tonight, if you have, either you have your kids or you have friends who have kids or neighbors who have kids that are entering high school, it's open to anyone who's from 9th grade to 12th grade. And we're coming up on our 10th year of having a Youth Advisory Council, award-winning Youth Advisory Council, and the more the merrier. So I know we have some parents in the crowd of former Youth Advisory Council members. I see them out here, and I think they could all give testimonials as well. So.
And sir, if I may, we got a new public information officer that I'm sure can knock that out as well.
Great, because we have our social media, or what's the position called, Andrew? Communications chair?
Social media communications, yes.
Okay, is that you?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, well, you know what? There's a young lady back there that you need to talk to. So,
All right.
okay, thanks. Anything else?
He's one of the fast tracks for vice chair.
He is excelled. He has excelled, yeah.
If it makes you feel any better, this is my first night as well. Thank
Thanks.
you so much.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. He just wants out at this point. I'm so gone.
Go. Next on the agenda is the Okaloosa County Commissioner, Mel Ponder, giving us an update on the Meigs Park revitalization.
This is Mel's first night too, so give him grace.
Now, y'all's future's bright, you got leaders like that. Well done.
We're proud of him.
Congrats on the tenure you've had that, because obviously that next generation getting there.
So we took our lead from you. When you were down in Destin, we looked down there, and you guys had a youth advisory council about 10 years ago. We didn't. And so my oldest son had asked me the question of, hey, how come we don't have one, Dad? And I said, well, why don't you go look into it? And he used you guys as a model.
The one that'll be working on the physical therapist.
No, my older one. Yeah.
Okay.
You got to listen to his podcast. All the details are in his podcast. Shameless plug.
Yeah, he's got a knack for being on top of that. Mayor, Councilor, Commissioner, Council, thank you for, I am learning, it's an honor to be before you. I just want to give you an update tonight on where we are with the special needs park. That was an idea, really, Mr. Mayor, started with you several months back. Just kind of planting the seed. Sometimes I think it's important, whether it's from the youth or from each other or from the community. No idea, obviously, can be, that each idea can be brought forth and if it's poured in the right soil, it can produce fruit. So this was an idea you kind of dropped in my heart, and coming back from Tallahassee, working with the special needs community over there with the Agency of Persons with Disabilities, it was on my heart, and we had started a group here at home called BEST, Benefiting Exceptional Students in Transition. And it was just a program I stood up when I got back, and it was just connecting all the people who work with those in the special or unique needs community, and just building relationships, sharing ideas and things of that nature. And you caught me at a phenomenal time where everything was still stirring in my heart about what more could we do. And as each of you probably know, this Special Olympics was the birthplace in Florida, right here in Okaloosa County. Second only in America was right here, and so I felt with your idea and on the backs of that heritage we have in our county is to work with Craig Coffey, who's here as Deputy County Administrator, as well as presenting to our fellow commissioners when it was legislative budget season time. The idea of petitioning legislature for funding, something like this to birth it here. You see them in other places around the nation. Tom's River is one that I think Mr. Williams, you sent me, but Dothan has one. There's really nothing else like this in Northwest Florida. We have pocket parks around, but nothing to this degree. And so we went to Representative Maney, submitted the idea, and we're able to get some extra funding down the stretch. And so it's a $2 million project that we're bringing forward for the county. We got $1.25 million from the state, $750,000 was the match by the county. And then we started a journey of where does it go? And then comes Miss Councilwoman Alley. And her efforts to work with the Mullet Festival grounds, just going to meetings with her, being passionate not only to bring that home here to the great city of Niceville, but also to listen to my idea about where can we place a special or unique needs park like this, a Field of Dreams concept. And so we started journeying down the Mullet Festival grounds about what could possibly take place there. And as that kind of started to drift a little bit, Mr. Coffey and I started looking at other areas. The state generously blessed us with some funds, so we needed to find a location. And so we began to canvass the county. The majority of those that have the greatest access to the park are in the southern part of the county. So it's not to say that Crestview would not have been a good location. There's some great spots that came to us in Crestview. However, I just didn't feel like that was the right spot to have the greatest impact to the residents of Meade. So we looked around Fort Walton Beach, we looked around Silver Sands, we looked in various places where we could go. Trying to partner with the school district even perhaps, with a joint use agreement of some kind. And then up came Mr. David Deitch, and he and I think Ms. Alley just continued to say, hey, Niceville would be a phenomenal spot. I even went and talked to Stacy Berryman at Autism Center, just trying to find a good spot, and got a call, and he said, hey, have you thought about Meg's Park? And I'm like, I haven't. And so had the honor to come up, drive, walk the grounds, look around, talked to David a few times about possibilities, and we started dreaming. And so what I wanted to do tonight is really to submit it to you about where we are in this journey, to make sure you're well informed about what's going on and what the next steps might be. Mr. Coffey did present, and I'm sure Mr. Clerk, you probably got one as well, presented at least a little packet for tonight. It's not that it's over professional, but it's just enough, I think, to kind of give you some information where we are. Just the aerial, of course you know Meg's Park, that's just a quick aerial of it. Currently, as y'all have been even forward thinking for that park, you've put in pickleball courts, you're going to put in some bathrooms. There's some improvements y'all are already planning on doing as a city before we came along. And so that vision was already on your heart to improve that area. And so you're well underway to make those improvements. So what we're trying to do is to total be $1.5 to $2 million project for us to honor the state's going to be $2 million level. It's going to require a park redesign to some degree that the parks that you're not currently using, which we get to that point, hire a firm to help us do that, looking to put an extra walking track there. A Field of Dreams ball field of some kind, and there's an image there that we're going to have to we'll ebb and flow that a little bit. A large ADA playground, and there's a sample image in the package as well. Combination basketball, volleyball court, rehab existing court you currently have, and then add a large pavilion with a quiet room, which is a needed asset when you do a Field of Dreams concept like this. And so within the package, as you do go through it, there's an image of what a field could look like, ADA playground equipment. Some of the items that y'all are doing already is some on-street parking, new bathrooms, as I mentioned. Other things that we probably need some help with is just when it comes time to permitting, it's just when we bring it to you, you're aware of it, it's aware of the project, but we don't want to catch anyone off guard with that. General oversight, we want this is within the city footprint, really. So the city of Niceville deserves to have that general oversight. Ongoing maintenance, so once we put the project in, that'd be something that we would obviously, the county would take over the ongoing maintenance of the facility and the ongoing grant opportunities and conditions. Next steps for us is to finalize the agreement with the state, with FDEP to secure the legislative funding. Dixie, you're probably aware when you get funding from Tallahassee, you've got to work with them and start giving some identifiers. They reached out to Mr. Coffey and our team about where's it going, because there's actionable items that you're supposed to partake in. Clearly, they're going to work with you from an appropriation, so we're going to continue to work with them. finalize the TDC funding, which would be part of the match, develop a city-county interlocal agreement, which we would bring back to y'all to vote on. We will be taking it up soon, and then we'll bring it back to y'all next to make sure you're a partner in this with us. Select a design engineer, work together to finalize and permit improvement plans, and then hire the contractor and really get going. And so it's something that, it's near and dear, obviously, to me. Our commissioners fully support it. Very excited about the opportunity that Meigs Park provides in the city of Niceville here. I think the city of Niceville is a tremendous win for this project to go here. And if I didn't continue to work with Niceville, I think Miss Allie would probably disown me and try to kick me out. She's fault probably to bring it here, but just want to let you know where we are so that no one gets caught off guard with that. Is there any questions I can answer? Yes, Councilor Chapman.
The first question is for our city manager, David. How big is this area that we're looking at, Meigs Park? Do you know?
Meigs Park is just under 4 acres, sir.
Just under 4 acres. So everything that you're talking about in your concept here, it will fit in easily.
Absolutely.
Okay. The second question is for you, Commissioner Ponders or Mr. Coffey. This is Okaloosa County. Is there something to our west in Santa Rosa or something to our east in Walton County? Or are we going to attract ADA types of sports here within Niceville, people coming to Niceville?
In short, yes. I mean, the ball field, what we're trying to do, there's not a pending league at the moment. However, it would be very attractive if you have a son or daughter with special or unique needs. This park will be very compatible for anyone from that standpoint. We're also talking to Special Olympics about doing some joint use training that they'd be able to use, whether it's a shot put or basketball or even to some degree used in track that they can use for their athletes. So we're wanting them to also come here and partake in some of their athletes using some of the facilities as well. There's not a park of this kind within the sister and neighboring counties.
Thank you.
And so it'd be attractive to them. There's Pocket Park, like Fort Walton has one, and there's other pockets, like Pensacola, but nothing to this scale. Dothan would be the closest thing to this scale.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Commissioner, thanks for this. This is fantastic. And I think it's completely in line with what we as a city are striving for. I'm glad you talked to Stacy at ECAC, Emerald Coast Autism Center. I would think this would be synergistic with things that they are doing and things they need. As you all know, we're pushing for a regional aquatic center here, which I think blends in with this regional tourism type, sports tourism that we're pushing for. We've got ideas for a sportsplex on some other grounds that are around here that, TBD. So I think that this is right in line with that. A couple questions. Do you envision this contract would ultimately be let by the county and administered by the county in terms of design, construction, oversight, or are you looking to the city to actually be the execution agent?
That's a question I'll probably answer.
Okay.
I think we were looking to work jointly with you on the design, and for all amenities, including some of the ones you're doing. You would construct your amenities, we would construct ours. We would oversee the ones as we construct them, and we hand you the keys at the end of the construction project. But you'd be involved, you'd be inspecting it, your building permits and stuff, all your city permits would be pulling oversight with the city.
Okay.
It'd be jointly approving our plans.
And then who do you envision having the primary responsibility in terms of upkeep, maintenance, and reinvestment?
That we were hoping the city would take care of that.
So it would basically essentially be gifted at that point
That's correct.
over and become a city asset.
That's correct.
So we own the tail at that point.
That's correct. Because with the agreement with the state, they'll have something like, okay, you're gonna keep the facilities for 10 years or something like that.
You have to have a reinvestment plan and a rejuvenation plan for sports equipment, especially as it relates to ADA.
Yeah, they would have similar things if you wouldn't got the money yourself.
Right.
And assuming you want to keep it up, but it'd be out of state art, very high quality stuff.
So all that'll be laid out in the interlocal.
That's correct, that's correct. And then it should be, I imagine within the next month or so, you'll start to see some graphing language. I'll be working with David on that.
Perfect, thank you.
A little background on this is that, really wants this in my face. We're really hoping that this would go in the sports complex, and I'm working on so hard to do on the England side over there. It says like 4 acres to do this, but the timing, because the money's got to be spent in the fiscal year, this was the other best option and to keep it in Niceville, which I said, no, you cannot take it out of Niceville. We worked too hard for this. So anyway, thank you for what you're doing for this. And I would love to be part of the planning.
Facility being usable by all kids, and it's, the playground that you're looking at is probably $500,000 or more playground, so it's not a small playground, it's quite a
And council, the other detail I would add is that Jonathan and I, about a month, maybe 6 weeks ago, went over to Okaloosa Technical College, and they have a program over there for disabled students. And they agreed to, tentatively agreed to build the restrooms for us, those special needs students. And then we'll put it on the truck, put it over here, and we'll lay the foundation, and we'll stick it on there. But special needs students will be building our restrooms.
It's fantastic.
I don't have any questions, but I just want to express my gratitude for the county, the partnership with the county and you, Commissioner Ponder, and your work, Craig, for all this. It definitely is something that will kind of cultivate a sense of belonging, empowerment, and unity within our community, and this is something that we needed. Sure. Thank you so much.
I have another question.
Yes.
Yeah. My question was, what is the age difference? I mean, what age group are we talking about? Are we talking into the adults or?
Sure, if there's a special need and they want to come use the park, it's not going to be, we're not going to.
So it's all inclusive?
Yes, it's considered an all-inclusive park, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It would be for the entire special needs community as well as wounded warriors, things like that.
Awesome. That was my question,
Oh,
because you said it's students, so.
Yes, it's open, yes, I'll be an all-inclusive park. The
Okay.
equipment that we're offering should be all-inclusive.
Okay.
Thank you again.
Any other questions? How you all doing that? Okay, good, thanks.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Thank you all, appreciate it.
All right, next on the agenda would be the Niceville CRA Old Town Commercial Real Estate Proposals. And we've got 3 brokerages here to present their proposals. If Amy, you want to come up and speak on this?
Good evening. In your packets, you should have a packet for this, and there will be a score sheet as well as the letters that were sent to the individual firms, the actual RFP notice that was sent out for the real estate, and the scores from the Certification and Selection Committee. And what we're going to do is we're going to ask all the real estate agencies to go behind the wall, and we'll call them out one at a time, and we're just doing it in alphabetical order by agency. So first up will be the Berkshire Hathaway Agency.
Okay. And
Any questions?
so we're basically going to be listening to each one of these brokerages. We're going to score, and then we'll notify them on the next meeting, correct?
Yes.
Do we have score sheets that you're going to be giving to us?
You should have score sheets in your package, one for every firm. So it should be like Berkshire Hathaway, you should have a form for him, and then I believe the second sheet is a score sheet.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Berkshire Hathaway. I believe it's going to be up to 10 minutes for the presentations for each brokerage,
Hope not.
or shorter.
Or short. I did bring each of you all just a copy of what we're doing today.
Thank you very much.
I do have a question, and Mr. Powell, maybe you can answer this one. I work for Berkshire Hathaway, so do I need to abstain from scoring this? Okay, so I'm going to abstain from scoring on this company. I'm not part of this proposal, but I work for the company. Kathy, I'll get you the paperwork that you need for all of that. Okay.
First off, I want to thank y'all for having us back here. After we went to the CRA committee, Berkshire Hathaway was ranked first on the submissions that we previously done. I'm here to submit why we got choice for you guys tonight. We've got 2 representatives. I forgot, I got to do this one too. There we go. I'm Joe Fagundes. I'm a provider and luxury collection specialist. I've been doing this 25 years from commercial development. Done the wholesale side too, but also most of what I've concentrated on and been a part of is the revitalization of the downtown area. Prior to moving here 17 years ago when I moved here, started doing basically concept to completion on small operations that participated with our firm that has done both the market shops at Sandestin and the shops at Grayton, and then we did Patriot Plaza out on Highway 20. I did that in just the last 2 years. To lend to my local reputation, got a quote in here from a local developer who's pretty well known. I've known and worked with Joe for more than 5 years. I think he's by far the most qualified commercial real estate advisor in the Twin Cities. Most importantly, he knows his limitations and is quick to engage other resources. The City of Niceville CRA will be in capable hands with Joe. I'm trying to get all this working at the same time. There's 2 things that we're going to start with and we're going to finish with. One is our experience in turnkey commercial developments. I'll show you the samples of those in just a minute, but Berkshire Hathaway brings an enormous network that allows us to reach out across the country, across the region, and across the state of Florida to bring in resources and assets that can help in the development of a project just like this. You know, the second part of this is, I'm local. I live in Niceville, been a community participant for 17 years. It's something that means something to me. When I started hearing the rumors about it, the rumblings about it, and then started talking to some of the interested parties and the stakeholders in it, I think it's really important that we get this right, because it's a generational change we'll see for years to come, because we don't have a true economically defendable area for people to congregate, visit, event center, those types of things. And with this opportunity with the CRA and the things that the city council can do with this, I think it's so important that we act on this, but we plan it and do it in the right way. So here's a little more about Berkshire. Obviously, we do both commercial and residential. We've got 25 plus commercial representatives here in the state of Florida in our division. Everybody here tonight sells, leases, attracts, does all those types of things. Our regional and local understanding is what's going to separate us and keep us ahead of the game. We know the community, we know the businesses, and we know the residents. So this is just a sample of Patriot Plaza, which we just finished last year. Did that from concept to end. It's just office space. But that type of building in that area down there brings in or gives the opportunity for professional Class A office space, whether it be a lawyer. In this case, we have an investment person, a lawyer, general contractor offices, you know, all working there with people going in and out all day long. The next one is the shops at Grayton. Totally different concept. Small houses. Some of y'all, probably most of us have been out there at some point, because Chanticleer Sandwich Shop and all that is in that general area too, and it's in a mixed, another type of building. But this is another way to do it. Black Bear Bread Company, everybody goes there. So we did it from concept years ago to putting this as the way to do it, because there wasn't a lot in Grayton, and making these part of it, and we continue to manage, or at least continue to keep those leases and those tenants going. The last one we did not build, which was the Market Shops of Sandestin, but we were the initial and primary leasing company for that to attract both national, mostly national franchises at the time. You know, so we do have that reach. I don't foresee us wanting this to be a franchise area. I foresee us wanting it to be people that are vested in the community, that want their businesses here, whether it be a Wonder Coffee Shop or, you know, whatever the case may be, attorneys, you know, insurance companies, all those type, engineering companies, all those types of things that can be in that area, along with the event center and a restaurant or two, and the front, you know, the front porch cafe. So, project approach. You know, according to everything I've read, we're going to set all the parameters. We've got to do the footprint. We've got to take a look at it. We're going to be working with all the different stakeholders, the engineering firms, which we already have a relationship with, so that, you know, we've got a good floor plan to start with. Secondly, we're going to identify the priorities of the City Council and the CRA for partnership opportunities, funding sources, trying to find grants, whether we want to do public-private type joint investment, or whether we're going to go to a single outside developer and just set the parameters for them. I guess I could help you guys. After that point, we're gonna start recruiting businesses. You know, we're gonna do that before it's even built. We've got to get after that early on. So, you know, we're gonna be talking to some of the local companies, the local vendors that are already here. We're gonna be talking to folks in other parts of our county and other parts of the Northwest Florida area that want to be in Niceville, because we all live here. We know what a great area it is. I moved here 17 years ago. There's only two places I live in Northwest Florida. It was Gulf Breeze proper or Niceville, Florida. And we've been out here in Niceville now for 17 years. So we all appreciate what Niceville has. A lot of y'all lived here a lot longer. Some of you haven't lived here as long. But we know what we have, and we want to make sure it's successful and it provides for itself in the future. Construction's next. You know, we're not doing the construction, but we're going to make sure it's done right, and it's held to what the CRA has decided. From the architectural standpoint, to the footprint, to the businesses that go in there, we want a strict design plan. You know, we want to help enforce that, make sure that everybody understands it, and it's not about slapping somebody on the wrist, it's about presenting it up front so that everybody has the same buy-in that we have to make this thing successful. And finally, it's to have tenants move in. Everybody that's going to stand up here tonight has put tenants somewhere. That's what we do primarily, but the difference is, it's in Niceville, it's the buy-in, it's the living here, it's a different level of commitment. And again, I told you we start and finish with two things. One is our experience that we're bringing. We have numerous resources. We'll use them all to make this successful. Secondly, we understand what Niceville wants. We understand what the CRA has presented so far, and all we want to do is make it better and make it work. That's it. I appreciate your time.
Any questions from the council?
I do. Joe, thanks
Yeah.
for the presentation. Tell me a little bit more. I think I heard you say earlier in your presentation that you had done something similar to this in terms of metal redevelopment. As I look at the market shops of Sandestin, Shops of Grayton, and the little project on 20, those are not necessarily representative of a redevelopment the way we have. Each of those is interesting in its own right, but they're not what we're dealing with.
Right.
I think you said.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Okay,
from
tell-
1994 until 2004, I was an advisor on the Downtown Development Authority of LaGrange, Georgia,
Okay.
which is a community, you know, just across the Georgia line. It was a textile community. Everything vacated downtown.
Okay.
There was nothing left. There was nothing but storefronts and boards. The advantage it had is it already had the square, it already had the streets. We simply had to make some changes, tear down some buildings, do some things differently to bring it and revitalize that downtown area. It took 10 years to do it. It was probably easier than this project because it truly had lined streets with buildings that were just empty.
Mhm.
So it was a matter of repurposing the buildings that were there, you know, that they brought in, you know, which every small community does now. They, you know, brewery, restaurants. The Marriott Courtyard, actually, we took down that old retail store and they built the Marriott Courtyard right on the square. So we were able to do a lot. It brought the professionals back downtown again because they were all kind of moving out away from downtown because it was so bad. Not crime or anything like that, it just was empty. But everything is back downtown again. So if you're ever riding to Atlanta, it's worth getting off the exit 13 and just driving through there to see what it looks like. A lot of hard work. We built a parking deck, a single-story parking deck, just something. And we put the Chamber of Commerce on top of it with an open area that overlooks the square, so that all their meetings are up there, and it's a place easy to find for people to go that want to get information about the city.
What's the name of the town again?
LaGrange, Georgia.
And then one other follow-on question. So I understand that obviously you haven't started this, so you haven't begun with identification of priorities or anything like that. But you mentioned a number of times that you're local, that you know the community, you know the business, you know the people. What's your notional attraction strategy to put 19 different businesses down there?
My first question to you is, you just said 19. Are you sure it's just 19?
Well, I'm just going off what's written in here.
Yeah. It's going to, look, rent's going to matter. What we're providing is going to matter. A lot of that's going to come out in the initial stages that we talk about, because, we're going to have to talk about funding. We're going to have to talk about who's building the building. Are we selling parcels? All of that's going to come into play, and that's going to come as a directive from the CRA committee itself.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I wish Andrew was still here. I wasn't expecting to speak in front of this meeting.
We appreciate you coming in, Joe, and thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank y'all for your time tonight, and hopefully we look forward to working with you and for you.
Thank you. And next up, I believe, is going to be Taylor Allen.
Yes.
Good evening. Thanks for having us this evening. We are from Taylor Island Properties. My name is Brett Stewart. I've grown up in this area. I've got lived in Niceville for the last 26 years. 23 years of my career has been exclusively in commercial real estate. My wife's a school teacher of 22 years in Okaloosa County. Born and raised in Okaloosa County, and proud of living here. My partner Chad, he was transplanted here at the age of 6. He went to Plough Elementary, Ruckle Middle School, and Niceville High School, and then on to LSU. Chad's parents still live in the same house here in Niceville that they did a long time ago. Chad's been in commercial real estate for the last 21 years. He's got multiple commercial degrees in real estate and development. Chad's passed out a few of our notable transactions that we've been involved with over the last 6 months, plus or minus. The first one I'll point out to you, we represented Okaloosa Gas on their most recent 13.5-acre site in Valparaiso for $7 million. Additionally, been hired on as their leasing agent for the new build that's coming soon. Another notable transaction is we work with the GSA, the new Veteran Affairs Office in Fort Walton Beach. It's a new 5,000 square foot 10-year lease there. Somebody else we're working with is NC Davis Trust on the purchase of their new office in Destin, handling the consulting and construction management there. Recently at Destin Commons, we negotiated a 13,800 square foot office for a national insurance company. Another project that we've helped with, and Chad certainly helped tremendously, is in regards to the development of a 32,000 square foot business park in Destin. This is more of a light industrial that's currently under construction, and we have the leasing assignment there. So what we were asked here to come and tell you about who we are, what we do. We're fully vested in what we do in the commercial real estate arena. We feel like we've got tremendous knowledge to pass along to you and your project that we've seen. Spent a little time with Leon we've been involved with or assignments we've taken on is the day-to-day leasing from retail shopping centers, office buildings, and the like. We've done some consulting with Randy Wise on their commercial developments in this region. We've handled other large office projects such as Destin Commons. This is a client of ours as well. Another notable deal that we were involved with was the new Chick-fil-A in Destin. We were involved in a transaction there on the ground lease. Once again, like we spent some time with Lee understanding the scope of the project, and are certainly happy to get involved and understand what it would do for the city, how being a central focus point and a beautiful park asset that we all could use and have a nighttime, afternoon, evening to enjoy. Again, I'm a resident of Niceville for the last 26 years, so I believe in what you're doing, and thank you for all your work you've done so far. Are there any questions for us?
Council?
Yeah, I'll go first. Thanks for your presentation, for sharing some additional information with us, and we have what was in your original submission. Can you spend a little time explaining your approach to attracting potential businesses to the redevelopment site?
I mean, I think there's gonna need to be some sort of anchor down there. Most likely that's gonna be a restaurant, of some size. I think one of some of the things that obstacles we see is, you guys need better access to get down there. Parking is a big issue also. You guys need a daytime population. I think some of that is gonna come from actually having more residential mix in the development, second story stuff, most likely.
Yeah, we feel like the sense of arrival when you come off of Highway 20, it needs to be some type of large entry point. That, you're here, you've made it. However that's handled, maybe lean on Lee for helping with the design, build, and construction thoughts there. But this is a place that's going to live for decades and decades and decades. And so understand the long-term longevity of that, I think, is where we need to be focused on. But personally, how we attract those, we've got a tremendous Rolodex, if you will, on people we've done business with in our region for quite some time. So we'd be handpicking those who we think would be a good fit and sharing an opportunity with them.
So what are some of your, I guess, supportive points of the current concept plan, or what are some of the things you think you'd be revisited?
Yeah, sir, sure.
The three 2,000 square foot, two-story office buildings is probably not the best use of the space. Putting those three buildings together, maybe making two 1,500 square foot units on the ground floor, just free up some area, more parking possibly, and then again, having maybe like residences on the second floor.
I also like the idea of potentially a boutique hotel, and or live above spaces, just to kind of keep the activity level in that area constantly going, not having a dark time when the restaurant's closed, or if we're not filling up if we haven't filled up the restaurant space yet, or if the offices tenants haven't been played yet. I think a residential play above the retail is something to keep the place alive at all times of the year. And again, it could be phased out. Yeah, we're not 100% on board with the current layout. I think the density could be much higher to really capture the essence of what we're trying to do down there. But again, that comes with parking restrictions, and I'm sure there's some other caveats in play there. So anyway.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
So, my envision, and I don't know if you envision this or not, but I kind of see this as a mini Baytown Wharf area, with a combination, just what you guys were talking about, with commercial on the bottom and residential on the top. Is that kind of what you're saying, that you're envisioning for down there?
In more density, yes, sir.
And what is your thought with rerouting Bayshore Drive, as we have proposed it on the plan itself right now?
So, I don't know how the residents down in that area will feel, but I think it works.
I mean, it certainly captures the audience, keeps them in place. It certainly be a learned driving pattern for all residents and those in the surrounding area. So certainly understanding where to park all these folks is a real question that I've got, and how we get that done on a limited amount of land.
coming in. We appreciate the presentation, and thank you. Great. So the next one would be Cole Banker.
Unfortunately, Caldwell Banker did not make the meeting this evening. I reached out to him just now, and he said he never received the emails, and I confirmed his email address. He said that he would let his presentation that he sent, his proposal that he sent stand. I don't know how many of you saw that proposal. If you'd like to look at it, I have it on the computer. I can bring it up for you.
The same one you sent us when I asked for it last
Yes.
time, right?
It is.
Nothing changed?
No, it was the huge file
Yeah.
that
the
I
big one.
sent in.
Okay.
I think we should bring it up anyway, just so
Okay.
that it could be, so the audience can see it.
That's fine. Did you have a question, Mr. Shaw? Okay.
I was going to ask for the same thing.
So they started off by presenting what we currently have, and then they wrote you a little letter, letting you know that they are interested in what their company is, and that they're a Fortune 500 company, and that they include core services that would apply to this project, such as landlord representation, tenant representation, and investment services. And they believe in the direction set forth by the CRA and its impact on the city. Price has always been a central influence on the marketing strategy. It can make or break your product launch. To that end, we take seriously our role ensuring that the economics of the project realize expected yields. They say promotion is about the tactics that we use to reach potential customers and distinguish the product from others, and this will be made part of every conversation we have, and the delivered marketing collateral as the story being told should be compelling. And they say that if you decide to grant them the assignment, you're getting a national firm with competent, credible people. And then they're telling us of the people who will be assigned to this. Greg Clausen is one of them. They say that their company has over 117 years experience, that they are trusted, proven, and enduring. Their Caldwell Banker is in 40-plus countries, 171 companies, 500-plus markets, and almost 2,200 professionals. And they say that in 2022, they completed nearly 15,500 transactions. And this is a picture of Michael Mangrum. He is the broker for the commercial direction at Caldwell Banker. And he has,
What does he operate out of? I can't read that from here.
Pensacola, and it says that he has 34 years of experience.
Okay.
And then this is Greg Clausen. He's the person that provided the presentation. He is out of Destin on Legendary Drive.
Okay.
And he has, he doesn't tell me how many years of experience he has. But he said that he would be the one providing the dominant role in the creation and administration.
He's the closest local rep?
Yes. And then here is their power by the numbers. It just kind of shows you the breakout of multifamily, office, land, hotels, industrial, retail, mixed use, and hospitality. And they say the company started in 1906, and it gives you a little more demographics of the company. They show the areas of Florida that are covered by Caldwell Banker. And they talk about landlord representation, tenant representation, investment services, and this is how they would market the property. So they say mixed-use zoning designations allow for varied industrial segments to exist within the same property boundaries generally as complementary uses, while marketing strategies generally can be categorized as either board-based or specifically targeted to end users. Our approach encompasses both. and they talk about the marketing product package that they're going to use. It's critical to stand out from the crowd pertaining to marketing of a commercial asset. We take as much time as required to understand your goals, learning the property, resulting in a comprehensive offering memorandum. And they show the online listing websites that they use. And they talk about a product called CoStar. These are some press releases that they've used for different types of products that they have worked with. And then there is a recent transaction. It shows properties that they have worked on, sold, or leased.
Is there any similar redevelopment product that they're showing? Again, I can't see from my angle. I don't think I remember seeing
I
that.
don't think so. Not that I've seen most of this was commercial property, industrial property that they showed. Any questions? Any parts you want me to get back to you?
Any questions? I just want to thank all the commercial brokers that came out and made a presentation. And as we navigate through this process of selecting a commercial broker for the CRA, I want to extend my appreciation to all the real estate professionals that actually submitted proposals. Your commitment to the community's growth and development has not gone unnoticed. We've got a rigorous scoring system in place. We're carefully evaluating each proposal and considering factors as experience, innovative, evaluated, and certainly their approach to this. And it is a very important project, so we're certainly taking a look at that. All right, Dan, next item on the agenda is going to be the ordinance 24-0101.
Yes, this ordinance on first reading, the ordinance of the city of Niceville, Florida, providing for authority, providing for findings of fact, providing for amendments to Part 2 of the Code of Ordinances of Niceville, Florida Appendix D, Article 10, Land Development Code, Chapter 166, Florida Statutes, providing for conflicting provisions, providing for severability, and providing for effective date.
All right, is there a motion on the table?
Motion to approve.
Second. Okay. All right, discussion? Yes. Yep.
Okay, let me get my folks here. At the City Planning Commission last weekend, this was discussed for about a half an hour, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, is there anything you would like to add that was not in the meeting minutes from the City Planning Commission?
So you all should have received a document called TRC notes or comments, and on that page it explains why we are amending this ordinance so that we have stronger criteria that tells exactly when fencing around retention and detention ponds are required, and we're following the Northwest Florida Water Management District as well as the City of Crestview. They have the exact same language, both of them, in their code. And since we work with our MS4 program from the state, it's important that our regulations are either stronger than their recommendations or the same as their recommendations. And so instead of fencing being at city's discretion, we now have a criteria for why retention detention pond would need to be fenced.
If I remember correctly from the City Planning Commission last week, the discussion also centered around, this is the fencing.
Yes.
Correct. So the discussion centered around, this is here forward and no
Yes.
retrofits.
There is no retrofit. We're not asking any developers or any homeowners association to go back and fence any stormwater ponds that are currently built. We will be doing this from this point forward. We will be using this as a requirement for fencing.
Okay, and the second question I have is one of the City Planning Commissioner personnel wanted to adjust the the language in it, and I'm not sure anymore how he worded it, but could you explain what he wanted, and was it adopted by the City Planning Commission?
He asked for instead of it being a slope of 4 to 1 and a depth of 2 feet or deeper, he is asking that it be based upon the water release structure. And city staff feels that that is not a good measure because we are concerned about builders then building a huge deep pond, but if you put the water release structure just a foot off the ground, that would get rid of the first inch of water that stormwater pond maintains, but it could also affect the structural integrity of the slopes, or you're gonna end up with a ton of like 10-foot deep holes in the ground that have no fencing around them, because it meets the requirement of not over 2 feet in depth if you go from the bottom of the water release structure.
Okay, so the City Planning Commission accepted and voted on
They
his
did, yes.
recommended change, but since then, the City of Niceville Public Works Department and the Planning Commission feel that this is not the way to go. Is that correct?
So the planning commission approved based on the recommended language change. City staff still feels that we should be in line with Northwest Florida Water Management District's recommendation of fencing stormwater ponds. And I provided that that ordinance information in your packet.
Okay, thank you for the clarifications.
You're welcome. Any more questions?
But isn't that what we're voting on? To make it in line with Northwest Florida
Yes,
Water Management District?
that is what we are voting
Okay.
on. Even though it is not the exact same thing that the planning commission approved.
Right,
Yes,
They wanted a different, the Planning Commission wanted a slightly different language,
right, but
and our city staff, from what Amy is saying, is that we still can believe that this, in the documents before us tonight, is what we should adopt.
which mirrors Northwest Florida?
Yes,
Okay,
it does.
which, again, we didn't talk about the fact that for things like grant provisions and things like that, it's pretty important that we adhere to the granting authority.
yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much,
You're
Amy.
welcome.
Anyone in the audience would like to speak on this ordinance? All right, hearing none, let's go to the vote. Is there a motion on the table?
Yes, there's, I motioned.
Oh, my apologies. We'll go to the vote. We'll start off with
Yes.
Councilman Donahue.
Yes.
I vote yes. Councilwoman Alley.
Yes.
Councilman Shopson.
Yes.
Councilman Najum.
Yes.
All right. Motion carries. All right, next is the ordinance 24-01-02. Dan?
Yes, this ordinance on first reading, an ordinance of the city of Niceville, Florida, amending part 2, chapter 13, offenses and creating new sections 13-9 through 13-16 of the city of Niceville Code of Ordinances, prohibiting threatening, intimidating, harassing behavior for panhandling, solicitation prohibited, 13-9, loitering and prowling, 13-10, prohibiting overnight camping, extended, 13-10-3, theft of utilities, 13-11, use of right-of-way, 13-12, behavior and conduct in parks, 13-13, animal control, 13-13.04, providing for definitions, providing for penalties and enforcement, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing an effective date.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none. Anyone in the audience would like to speak on this ordinance? All right, we'll go to the vote. Councilman Najumian?
Yes.
Councilman Schatzel?
Yes.
Councilwoman Alley?
Yes.
Councilman Williams is a yes. Councilman Donahue?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Ordinance 24-01-03, Dan?
Yes, this ordinance on first reading, an ordinance of the city of Niceville, Florida, amending Article 1, Chapter 17, and adding new sections 17-3 of the city of Knoxville Code of Ordinances, prohibiting structures on city property, providing for definitions, providing for severability, providing for qualification, and providing for effective date.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none. Anyone in the audience would like to speak on this ordinance? All right,
I'm sorry, if I may, just for clarity, this is more, these are all lanes, right? This is all in terms of, unauthorized setting up tents or camping on public space, sidewalks, things like that, related to the previous one on.
Yes, sir, all four of these are around the same topic.
Yeah, so maybe it's worth taking a second and summarizing what it is that we're doing for folks that don't have copies of all these in front of us.
Sure.
There's about 3 or 4 or 5 of these that are.
There's 4 of them, and the reason there's 4 is because state statute requires ordinances to be separate and distinct on the topic. And so what this is a collective effort by the county and municipalities across Okaloosa County to get after a number of problems: panhandling, vagrancy, public camping, derelict vessels, livable vessels, et cetera, across the county. And so we came together several times over the past couple months to hash out these ordinances with the goal of establishing a standard across Okaloosa County with regards to these particular topics. And so we have all tentatively agreed to pass the same ordinances, both the municipalities and the county, to get after to do a number of things. Either A, get the individuals who are impacted by these ordinances the help they need, to educate them, encourage them, or enforce them. And so the goal is to get after these various problems. But again, they're broken up into multiple ordinances because that's what the statute requires.
That's excellent context, thanks.
So what measures will be taken to ensure that both residents and visitors are aware of, these newly established regulations, to where they don't, it prevents them from unintentional violations?
Well, sir, there's never any intent to enforce on unintentional violations. The one example you might see in the boating one is, or maybe in the parks, is you can't have alcohol in the parks. But if I'm down at Lions Park and I'm putting my boat in the water, and I got a cooler of beer in the boat because we're going to go out and have some drinks while we're out on the boat, that isn't what this ordinance is intended to capture. But to your question, these will be codified and posted on our website and where all the other ordinances are at. And then, again, this is principally about education. It isn't about enforcement. And so we will educate as required, during if there are any engagements with our code compliance officer or law enforcement officer. Again, the intent is always education and compliance and not necessarily enforcement.
And a lot of the enforcement provisions have, warnings in there where they know what they're doing is a violation. So the second violation then would result in enforcement.
Right.
All right. Any other questions? If not, we'll go to the vote. Councilman Donahue?
Yes.
Councilman Williams is a yes. Councilwoman Alley?
Yes.
Councilman Schatzel?
Yes.
Councilman Najarian?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. All right, next ordinance 24-01-04.
Yes, this ordinance on first reading, an ordinance of the City of Niceville, Florida, amending Article 1, Section 19-1, hitchhiking prohibited, and creating new sections 19-18.01 through 19-18.03 of the City of Niceville Code of Ordinances, prohibiting parking in excess of 72 hours, 19-18.01, prohibiting parking in designated fire lanes, 19-18.02, and prohibiting parking in parks and public rights-of-way, 19-18.03. Providing for definitions, providing for severability, providing for qualification, and providing for an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
All right, discussion? Hearing none? Anyone from the audience would like to speak on this ordinance? All right, we'll go to the vote. Councilman Najarian?
Yes.
Councilman Schatzel?
Yes.
Councilwoman Alley?
Yes.
Councilman Williams is a yes. Councilman Donahue?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. All right, ordinance 24-01-05, Dan.
Yes, sir. This ordinance on first reading, an ordinance of the city of Knoxville, Florida, amending Article 1, Chapter 4.5 boats, docks, and waterways, and creating new sections 4.5-2 and sections 4.5-202, use of public boat ramps, dock facilities, and beaching of vessels 4.5.023, and enforcement 4.5-203, floating structures prohibited 4.5-204, derelict vessels 4.5-205, and enforcement 4.5-2.06, providing for definitions, providing for severability, and providing for codification, and providing for an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Discussion? Hearing none?
I have a general question, this may be for our city manager. So I know ordinances will get read again next month, and then if it's all approved, then it'll go into our code. And the question that I have is, how quickly can our code be updated to satisfy these changes that will get signed off, assuming they're signed off next week, accepted and signed off? So is it in January or February that we'll have our...
Civic Plus used to be the municipal code. They codify our ordinances. We send the original signed copies, email them, and then they go into a thing called Order Bank until the next supplement is produced. Usually it's every quarter. But anybody who visits our code online, they can see anything in Order Bank is pending final publication. And when it finally publishes, we'll get a printed copy that we can update our manual. It's like a big book about this stuff in our code of ordinances.
I'm asking the question because this process takes time that you just described.
Yeah.
And in case the situation arises that we have to discuss this, is somebody after January's meeting, assuming that they all get signed off, so they may come back and say, well, it's not in your book.
Well, the thing is, we have signed copies, and they're in effect.
When does it get updated on the website, though?
Okay.
On the Muni code?
Okay. As soon as we sign,
Can you talk into the microphone a little bit, please?
as soon as we sign off on the ordinances, every meeting, I scan them and I email them to municipal code now, which is Civic Plus. So they receive them and they process them, and then you'll see if you follow the code online, if you will, you'll see they'll be in a thing called Order Bank, and that's pending codification, and so they're effective. So anyway, it'll take maybe, okay, they have to get the printed copy in about 90 days. You get a new printed copy, but they're effective. Well, once the ordinance is signed, they're in effect. And I don't have the record copy posted in my office. So,
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Hope that satisfies it.
No one further. Any other questions? Anyone in the audience would like to speak on this ordinance? Hearing none, Councilman Najarian?
Yes.
Councilman Schatzel?
Yes.
Councilman O'Nally?
Yes.
Councilman Williams is a yes. Councilman Donahue?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. On to ordinance 24-01-06.
This ordinance on first reading, an ordinance of the city of Knoxville, Florida, to be called the City of Knoxville School Zone Speed Enforcement Ordinance, amending the City of Knoxville Code of Ordinances, providing for purpose, intent, and definitions, providing a school zone speed enforcement program, and authorizing the use of speed detection systems within the city, providing for program implementation requirements, providing for designation of school zones, providing for enforcement procedures, providing for collection of evidence, public records, and retention requirements, providing for annual reporting requirements, providing for remittance of collected fines and costs, providing for severability, providing for resolution of conflict of laws, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date.
Move to approve. Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilwoman Allen,
Second.
and second by Councilman Julian. Discussion? Anyone in the audience like to speak on this ordinance? Hear none? Councilman Donahue?
Yes.
Councilman Williams is a yes. Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilman Schatzel?
Yes.
Councilman Julian?
Yes.
On ordinance 24-01-07, Dan?
Yes, this ordinance on first reading, an ordinance is for the rezoning certain properties in the city of Knoxville, Florida, providing for same effective date. Malcolm Spears, 805 Cedar Avenue South, requested property rezoned from R1A to R1B with FLU of MDR, medium density residential.
All right. Motion on the table?
I'll move approval.
Second. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Discussion?
I would like to ask if Mr. Spears is here, to come forward and explain to us what his intentions are for this property.
My name's Malcolm Spears. I own Great American Enterprises, aka or DBA Great American Homes, and been building homes in the community for roughly 21 years actually this year. And as you may know, I bought the property earlier this year at 919 47th Street. It was a drug-infested property. We got it cleared off within 30, 60 days from, it took years of a lot of problem for the county and the city and so forth. Jonathan here, he can vouch that I've donated property to help out storm retention and so forth, given easements. Actually, my personal legal counsel advised me not to do it, but I recognized there was a problem and was willing to help out the city with it. I've always tried to do what was requested of me by the city and so forth with sewer and water storm retention and so forth. This particular piece of property here, it was owned by a family, just to be blunt, they were split up, the husband and the wife was. The husband had pretty much deserted the mortgage, deserted the wife, the kids. They were in very bad financial shape, and my mutual friend reached out to me to buy the property and take it off their hands for him. I agreed to pay him $300 grand for it. I didn't really want to pay that much. I wanted to put the property in a contract with a contingency that you guys would approve the rezoning of it, but the family was in, like I said, very difficult need where I moved forward with closing on it, putting their needs before my own. And I come here tonight to see if I could get the property rezoned from 1A to 1B, as the property is across the street from it on Cedar Avenue. The property south and west of it is actually R2, which is a higher density, but I was going to just simply rezone it from R1A to R1B. And we was going to build 3 individual homes there instead of the one home that is there now. The house that is on the property now was probably built in the 60s or 70s and just was beyond repair and so forth. So I plan on, with your permission and approval, slicking the house and building 3 new homes. Price-wise, trying to make them as affordable as possible in this day and age. They're going to be probably in the low to mid 400 range for these individual homes.
Thank you. Thank you.
You envision about a .15 acre per unit?
By splitting it up into 3 lots, it meets the requirements of R1B. It almost meets the requirements of R1A, but it's like 500 square foot short each individual lot. So that's why I'm here asking for the result from R1A to R1B.
And the house is going to get raised and you're going to rebuild there 3
Yeah, the current residence will be demolished. We've already purchased our demolition permit, was actually like the house is shot. So we're gonna go ahead and get it removed off the property anyways, and then, like I said, with you guys' permission, move forward after the first of the year with building 3 new homes there.
Thank you for the explanation.
Yes, sir.
Oh, one question. I don't know if it's for you, Mr. Spears, or maybe Amy, but this appeared to be a split vote at planning 4-3.
Yes.
Can you, or can someone shed light on what the discussion surrounded?
I don't remember there being much discussion. Do you, Doug?
Doug, sir.
I had a question regarding the property. I talked with your partner, a couple weeks ago about a tree that fell down.
So if
I'm
you can-
sorry, can you come forward so we can all hear?
First of all, I'm 100% owner of my own company. I don't have a partner, but we.
And sir, can you please state your name and address, please?
Yeah, my name's Jonathan Everett. I live at 811 Cedar Avenue, just 2 doors down from this property.
What's your question? And what was your
My
question?
question was, I talked with, get his name right, Jared?
Oh, Jared was the mutual friend of the
Right.
seller and myself.
So he had told me that you were gonna build 2 houses up there, and I just,
No, sir. Financially, we'd have to build 3 individual homes there.
so are they still gonna have the, like?
Sir?
order-
I'm sorry, could you direct your questions to the council?
Yeah, I was
Thank
just
you.
wondering what size those lots would be if they met, you know, the density,
And I can do the calculus, so they will get,
because R1A zoning is, you know, I know when we talked about the lots across the street, rezoning those to commercial a couple years ago, there was some limitation to, you know, how much house you could put on a lot, what do you call it?
For the record, we got one talk at one time, and then
Right.
Mr. Spears, and you can come up and
Okay.
and rebut whatever, but we can't keep the record going if everybody talking at once. Thank you.
So, for me, I just wanted to verify that you could put 3 homes on there within the, because I thought you were putting 2, but it doesn't matter to me, 2, 3 doesn't really matter, that house needs to get torn down and.
So the rezoning request of taking it to R1B allows for 3 to be put on. That's the action. That's the request.
That was my only question.
So can I get my question answered then, Doug? Thanks.
You're next.
All right, state your name and the address.
Doug Tolbert, 709 Mill Creek Run myself. On the planning commission, split vote, merely semantics of Mr. Spears was not in attendance at the meeting, and we could not ask questions to determine the scope of what was going on, and he had no representative there.
Okay. So then it was voted on what was presented, no additional verbiage.
Correct.
Got it. Thanks.
All right, any other additional questions? Any more comments from the audience? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. Councilman Donahue?
Yes.
Councilman Williams is a yes. Councilwoman Alley?
Yes.
Councilman Schatzel?
Yes.
Councilman Najamian?
Yes.
All right. On to ordinance 24-01-08.
This ordinance on first reading, an ordinance annexing to the city of Niceville, Florida, contiguous land described as set forth herein, providing for proper advertisement pursuant to Florida statutes 171.44. Excuse me. Providing that the property will be zoned R2, one or multiple family, with official land use of MDR. Parcel ID 081S22400075-0010 and parcel 081-2240075-0000. Florida Key Properties Boulevard Avenue.
All right, the motion on the floor.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Anyone in the audience like to come speak on this? Is someone here to speak on this ordinance?
Florida Keys.
Florida Keys? Yes, Florida Keys. You just like to tell us what your plans are for the property?
Basically, the plan is to build a duplex and a triplex, one on each individual
Yes, sir.
property. Sure, Jonathan Harvell, home address, 707 Pat 4 Lane, last name. 707 Pat 4 Lane.
All right, and name and address?
Joshua Brinkman, 210 Crystal Court.
Christian Brinkman, 210 Crystal Court.
Council have any questions for these?
I do, and I don't know whether it be Mr. Harville or Brinkman, but this land right now is vacant, is that not correct?
Correct.
Okay, so you intend to put housing on it?
Yes, sir.
And do you know how many units you're thinking of?
5 total.
5 total.
1 duplex and 1 triplex.
Thank you.
What's the acreage of the total property?
0.47.
So just under half?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So a total of 5 units.
And it's currently 2 parcels.
Yeah, it's split, right, okay. All right, thanks.
Any other questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll go to the vote. Anyone in the audience? Actually, we'll go to the vote. Councilman Donahue?
Yes.
Councilman Williams is a yes. Councilwoman Alley?
Yes.
Councilman Schatzel?
Yes.
Councilman Nijumian?
Yes.
All right. All right, Dan, resolution 23-12-01.
Yes, a resolution to vacate and abandon a portion of the property right away between 4006 and 4010 13th Street, parcel numbers 051S22 256F 0111 001A, and parcel number 051S22 256F 0112 003, located in Knoxville, Florida, authorizing vacating abandonment of said right of way, authorizing disclaimer said property right away, and providing for an effective date.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second by Donahue. All right, discussion? Hear none. Is there anyone here to speak on this resolution? Mr. and Mrs. Davis?
Angela Davis, 1006 13th Street.
Sean Davis, 4006 13th Street.
Basically asking to vacate the right-of-way, 25 feet of the western half on 13th Street. It was a closed right-of-way, just need a formal request.
Any questions from the council?
Jonathan, any impacts, any issues? No Public Works?
No, but
No, okay, thanks.
Hearing none? Thank you so much for this. All right. Anyone from the audience? All right, Councilman Nijumian?
Yes.
Councilman Schatzel?
Yes.
Councilwoman Alley?
Yes.
Councilman Williams is a yes. Councilman Donahue?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. All right, resolution 23-12-02. Dan?
Yes, that is a resolution authorizing the city manager to purchase services for the Valparaiso Boulevard Drainage Improvements Project in the city of Knoxville, Florida. and provided for an effective date. Mr. Chairman, if you want to speak on that.
Do I hear a motion? Motion by Councilman Donahue, second by Councilwoman Alley. Any discussion? Yes, Chad?
Just as your documents show, we had a bid opening, had 3 contractors bid on the project, and the lowest bid and the one we're recommending is Construction Services at $319,000. We had originally budgeted this based on some recommendations from the engineers. We budgeted $600,000 this year for this project, so we are coming in well under budget. Evidently, prices did not continue going up the way that we had projected that they might for this project.
That's good. And this is a local company in Valparaiso from the information we have.
Correct. They're actually out just east of town, but yes.
When's the completion date?
I believe that's got a 120-day, I think it's 120-day. I don't think it's going to take them that long unless they run into weather issues or something like that, which will extend, but that'll put it out 4 months, so end of April timeframe.
Any further questions? Yes, sir. Anyone in the audience like to speak on this resolution? Hearing none. Councilman Najumi?
Yes.
Councilman Chancel?
Yes.
Councilwoman Alley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams is a yes. Councilman Donahue?
Yes.
Motion carries. All right, we have come to the city manager's brief reports.
Thank you.
Recommendations?
I can't promise they're gonna be brief, because you know me and they never are.
Absolutely.
Attorneys are the only ones on the planet that get away with writing a 30-page document and calling it a brief. So I'd like to start with my comments. First of all, I would like to introduce the council to Shanitra Francis, who is our new Public Information Officer. If you would please stand up. Niceville's first Public Information Officer. And so we met, she's been on board 3 weeks now. And so she came in day 1. I unloaded on her, and so she has been drowning ever since. But she's doing a great job for us, and I look forward to working with her in the years ahead. Strategic plan is underway. I anticipate this project will take 4 to 6 months to complete, and you will be contacted in the near future by ISP regarding interviews. I signed a contract for the pay study last week, so that will kick off shortly and should take approximately 4 months to complete. The Johnson Controls water system study is moving along. Jonathan and Julie have provided a lot of data to them. They've come down and done a lot of data collection themselves, and they've already identified a few issues to us which Jonathan and his team have already corrected. The needs analysis for the city complex is underway by APCON, and I anticipate getting that needs analysis done probably sometime in February. Please don't forget that the city Christmas party is this Thursday at 6 p.m. in the community center. We had an unfortunate incident with one of our teammates here. His daughter was recently diagnosed with leukemia, and so the city is hosting a number of different fundraising efforts. The first one will be on December 14th. We'll conclude on December 14th. It's for a Christmas tree from Jesse out of the IT department. It's one of the ceramic Christmas trees that has like the lights on it. So you can still buy your raffle tickets because that raffle will occur at noon on the 14th. We're also selling barbecue tickets. If anybody would like them, they're $10 a piece. In the barbecue will be pulled pork, baked beans, coleslaw, and a drink, and you can pick that all up out at the Mullet Festival site between 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock on January 18th. And again, this is a fundraising event for this family, to support this family. I was in Tallahassee most of the day today. I met with Senator Trumbull, and I have a meeting next week with Rep. Maney to discuss the 2 appropriations requests I put in. The meeting with Senator Trumbull went well. And so, I'm optimistic regarding my meeting with Rep Manning next week. The fire union negotiations are ongoing. We're approximately 98, 99% done. We've got a couple of last few details to iron out, and we have meetings scheduled for Thursday and Friday of this week. Our new code compliance officer has been extraordinarily busy the last 2 months. Is he still in the room back there? Hiding back there somewhere? Scott Ward. Scott Ward has taken on a monumental challenge of building out Niceville's code compliance program. And in the last 2 months, he's dealt with 86 different complaints. 66 of those he's already resolved. 20 of them are still in the works. He's working collaboratively with the property owners, and we're really starting to see a lot of positive impact from all of that. I'm not sure it's positive for Scott, because the more things he gets corrected, the more complaints he gets. So, but he's doing a great job with code compliance, to include correcting the deficiency on 21st Street, as I noted to you earlier in the week. Some of the biggest issues that he's seeing right now is health and sanitation, with regards to nuisances and excessive growth, also junked and wrecked abandoned vehicles, and then garbage and refuse are the top problems that he's seeing. He's doing a great job, but he is extraordinarily busy with code compliance. I just wanted to provide an update on Twin Oaks, which I got from Eggland. Twin Oaks and the reclaimed water pipeline updates I got from Eggland today. I'm just going to read what they sent me. So with regards to the Twin Oaks update, there's still pending notification from GSA if the letter of intent has been received for the parcels in the McKinney-Vito Act screening. The projects began advertisement in the HUD Exchange Registry Report, suitable and available on 10 November. The required 30-day window closed over this past weekend. However, it is unknown if interest was expressed at this time. If no letter of intent was received, Eggland can move forward with requesting the GSA cost estimate for a fair market value determination. I am told that it's in less than 1% of circumstances does a HUD bid come in. So I think we're fairly safe, but I'm not going to say that affirmatively yet. With regards to the reclaimed pipeline project, the revised request for additional acreage requires a facility board approval. The next board meets in February of 24. The initial environmental analysis indicated additional analysis required. The Natural Resources Office at Eggland is working a Coastal Zone Management Act consistency determination with the state, as well as an environmental resource permit and a National Pollution Discharge Elimination System construction permit with the water quality program. Once those items are complete, the environmental section can move forward with a supplemental EDS. Also, as Eggland is pending receipt from us of 2 letters of no objection, one from MCI, Verizon, and then MBVA. We are in the process of getting those last couple of letters of no objection. Finally, I wanted to recognize our finance department for it's been 37 years in a row that they've earned the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting by the Government Finance Officers Association. So what I want to emphasize is the finance department in the city of Niceville government is responsible with the funds that our wonderful citizens provide us, and the accurate, transparent reporting has been noted for the 37th year in a row. With that, Chad, did you want to come up first?
Up to you.
Fire away.
Council. Got a few things for you tonight. Start off with the IT department. Shafsel has asked me about a couple of different things over the past week or two, and just to brief you, there have been some changes. Changes, mostly additions to state law regarding cybersecurity, reporting requirements, security requirements, education requirements, things like that. Probably most of you by now have received emails, correspondence from several educational facilities, educational agencies offering to help with the educational requirements of the new state statutes, things like that. We are aware of these changes, we're keeping an eye on things. We're still waiting on a couple of the state agencies to do their final rules. The statutes are in place, but the rules that they direct have not been completed yet. We are working with the KnowBe4 company, which does our security training and education, and they are putting together a package. As soon as the state finalizes their requirements, then KnowBe4 is putting together a package for us to be able to do the education. It's going to require annual training, security training on the cyber concerns, I guess is the best way to put it. It's not just hacking, it's not just any one particular thing, it's a sort of a broad-based requirement. There are some rules that are in effect now on if we have a security incident, you know, who we're supposed to report that to, who we're required to report it to, depending on the severity of the issue within a certain length of time. In most cases, it's 24 hours or up to a week, depending on severity, who we have to report back to, those things. And we are tracking all of those changes. And there's a couple other things that are in that actually don't take effect for us because of the size of the city. Well, we're not required to implement them until January of 2025. So we've got an extra year. Some of the larger cities and counties, they go into effect January 1st, 2024. But for us, implementation is 2025. So just be aware, we are aware of those things. There are going to be a lot of emails sent, a lot of correspondence that y'all will be receiving, a lot of our other staff people will be receiving. People that have figured out ways that they think they can make a little money. Some of the organizations are just being helpful, trying to help out and provide services. Some of them are trying to make money. You know, we're looking at all of them. We're looking at the different options. So we will keep you informed of things that come up that y'all need to be aware of. Other than that, IT, we're just keeping making changes to some things, updating some things, implementing some new security procedures, additional levels of security based on the grant that we received from the state this past year. Moving on to a couple of purchasing things. Last month, we mentioned the design. We had one set of qualifications come in to do the design work on the police department. We are still working with that company, doing some draft contract negotiations, working on a couple of different things. What I would like to do, if you're willing tonight, we would like to have a motion to allow Mr. Deitch to sign this contract. We would prefer not to wait till January to start it. This is going to be a long process. The designer's estimating about 14 months in the design phase, and we're not satisfied yet with the language in the contract, some of the pricing, the way that they've calculated the pricing. What we would like to do is, based on the contract numbers that we've got now, we would like to get your permission for Mr. Deitch to sign the contract with a not-to-exceed amount, and we're going to work that number down. That not-to-exceed amount is based upon a current calculation that the architect has done of the value of the new construction of a building just over $20 million. That's going to work out with the fees and things on the fee schedule that they've given us, with an 8.5% basic services fee plus some additional required fees. It's going to work out to about $2.45 million for design work. Now that will be spread over the entire course of the design, the 14-month design plus the next 14 to 18 months for construction, bidding and construction of the project. So it's not going to be $2.4 million all at one time. We are expecting, based on some discussion discussions that we've had, and I have not had back with Rodney at the architectural firm yet, but we're expecting that we're gonna be dropping that estimated cost by at least $3 million for some things that they're looking at having there that we're probably not going to be included. But we're also looking at their estimated cost per square foot, and we're trying to find some verification of what that is and where they came up with that number, because that number seems to be a little high as well. But what we're asking tonight is for permission to go ahead and do that so that we don't drag this out until the January meeting and then, add another month to the design phase.
Anybody need a motion?
I'll move for conversation purposes.
I'll second.
Second. All right, discussion?
So you only have one company come in at bid?
Well, it was not a bid, it was a request for qualifications.
Okay.
And we only had one. We had 6 requested information packages, and I was expecting a couple more, but that's, I mentioned that last month at the council meeting, that we had done the bid opening that day, and or the day before that, and that there was only one company that responded.
So how do we have an idea of whether or not these costs are even in line if we only have one company that qualified to respond?
Well, the percentage, and I don't know if Councilman Jimmy can put some input into this. The 8.5% number is, in my mind, is a reasonable percentage for basic services. I've seen some lower than that, I've seen some higher than that. So that, appears to be, and that's a large part, that's $1.7 million of the design cost that they've calculated. I feel that their calculations per square foot are, their estimate of what it's gonna cost per square foot is a little high. And I know that there's a firm here in town, and there's a couple other firms that I'm aware of that just do cost estimates. And I was gonna touch base with them, find out if that's a reasonable per square foot number that they're giving us, or if that's, just out of the question as far as the pricing goes.
Well, I'm not comfortable with making a decision without having more information, and Sal, maybe you can help with this, because, I don't have a clue. Is $2.4 million in line to design a project?
Yeah, it's a good question. So, to your point, Chad, anywhere from 6 to 10%, I think, is reasonable for architectural services. Obviously, the complexity of the design drives that. If you're designing a wash, rinse, repeat facility, then it's on the 5 to 6% side. If it's a very complex laboratory type environment, it's probably closer to 10. Police stations are somewhat unique. They have their own set of requirements that drive one-off designs, so I'm not overly concerned with an 8% or 8.5% number. I'd want to know what's in that. Do they have carry-on construction management services, or is it, RFI, submittals? Are they going to ask for T&M beyond baseline contracts? There's a lot that I'd want to know before we approve that large of a request. I'll tell you right now where I'm leaning is not approving that until we better read it and understand what's in it. That's a huge sum of money. And I'm with you, if they're planning on putting that anywhere where we're currently sitting footprint-wise, then $20 million is buying a Taj Mahal of a police station, and I would really like to see what they have in mind. So, not that you're asking for votes, but mine is no.
Any other questions? Any questions from the audience? Hear none, we'll go to the vote.
So I think you got one from Councilman Shasta.
Yeah. Based on what our fellow councilman Jimmy said, it may be best to table this if we can do that till January, when you can feed back more information. And in that case, I would suggest that our second and our first motion make a amended motion to table it till next month when we have more information.
I like that.
Make motion.
I think you were first. Or was I first?
Motion.
Oh, I was first. Yeah, for conversation, yeah. I will take that recommendation and recommend we table this for the January meeting with more information. And I will volunteer my services to help in the review process.
I will definitely take advantage of that.
So you need to withdraw your motion.
I changed it.
Amended it.
Amended it to
Okay.
tabling this.
Then I will second the amendment.
Okay. And then,
So now we're voting.
now we are voting for the amended tabling, correct?
Correct.
So, Councilman Najamian?
Yes.
Councilman Schatzel?
Yes.
Councilman Alley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Alley? Councilman Williams is a yes.
Yes.
Councilman Donahue?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. The last thing that I've got is a request from our Recreation Department and Public Works Department for permission to resod a soccer field up at Twin Oaks. There's one of the soccer fields up there that is in really bad condition. It's actually been closed now for a little while because it's too rough to play on. They're asking that we go ahead and do this. We did not go out to bid for it. We contacted 3 companies that do this type of work. The reason that we didn't go through the full formal bid process is that they would like to have it playable by the first part of February for some regional district tournament games.
Tournaments.
Yeah, that was the word I was looking for that didn't. The price we've got is from Landscape Workshop out of Valpy, $130,000. We had Tifton
Farms in Georgia.
Yeah, Tifton Farms out of Georgia. We're at 131, almost $132,000. And Dogwood said that they were not in a position right now to bid on that. I'm not sure, Jonathan, was that they didn't have time or that they were?
We say thank you to the city of Niceville that at this time can fulfill the job.
So I don't know whether they weren't able to do the job.
Don't have enough time.
Or they just didn't have enough time. So,
Umpires Association canceled the game, something like that.
yeah, they closed the field after the Umpires Association canceled the game because of the condition of the field.
And council, just a couple other details. If approved, they'd be able to start this project tomorrow.
Yes.
And have it done by Christmas time. And then it'll be playable sometime in January, hopefully in time for the end of the soccer season, as well as the championships and tournaments that follow the season.
I have a question. Was there a complaint filed against the city for the field condition?
I wouldn't call it a complaint that was filed, but the referee association did intervene a while back and say that no more soccer matches could be played on that field. And since then, I've received a number of emails from very spirited soccer parents and soccer players that have made a number of requests that we've tried to accommodate to the best of our ability. And this is another way in which we're trying to accommodate those teams so that they can play. We do have this budgeted, or it was approved in the fiscal year 24 budget at $100,000. However, we had another $100,000 project in the budget for the putting reuse at Next Park. But because the presentation from Commissioner Ponder earlier this evening, that money is no longer going to be needed for that particular project. So there is sufficient funds that have been approved in the fiscal year 24 budget to more than cover this project.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second. All right, discussion?
Yes, I have a question. So if we do this without going out for a bid, all that you got was a telephone call talking to the companies and 130 and 132,000. So you would have a recommendation then on which one to accept?
Yes, the Landscape Workshop is the one that we're recommending to accept it's the lowest one of those two. The reason reason that we're recommending it, number one, they're local, they're out of Valparaiso. Number two, they're also under contract with the school board. They're doing several of the, I think they're doing.
Exact same projects all over Okaloosa County.
Yeah, they're doing several, at least 3 different fields that they're doing now, and the school board seems to be satisfied with them. So.
And Councilman, I would also add that this will require a lot less work and labor on our part. The Tipton Farms had planned to do, strip the sod off, and then we were gonna have to haul it away and haul in new sand, whereas Landscape Workshop will till it up, and so we won't have to haul it off. And then the amount of sand that we'll have to bring in to level it out will be even less because the sod was not removed. And so there's a lot less work on our team, and even at the reduced cost to get the exact same benefit.
And the last question I have would be, since this is what I would consider a huge amount of money, do we need to go through an RFP process? Because
It is.
Sounds like we haven't yet.
The ordinance allows the council to approve anything. And this was, as I said, as Mr. Dice said earlier, that this was in the budget. So it was a budgeted amount. It's not an amount that would need to go to referendum. So the ordinance, our purchasing ordinance, says that anything over $25,000 will be approved by the council.
And so the reason I'm bringing it to you in this fashion is hopefully in hopes of expediting this so we have that field available for the teams before the end of the season.
Understood, thank you.
Any further questions?
I think you started answering one of them, David. So just to be clear, this is a lot more than re-sodding. So
yes, sir,
this
yes.
would involve a complete essential rebuilding of
Yes,
the
sir.
field, if you will.
Yes, so they're gonna till it all up, laser level it, bring in sand, laser level it again, and then re-sod it.
And then what, because everything's been done by telephone so far, I imagine we'll get some guarantees in terms of ensuring that the fields will take and will be.
I actually have written quotes.
Okay, with all that.
Both, yes.
Okay, so when we compare apples to apples, 132 to 130, we look at life cycle cost and guarantees and end results and everything.
Yes, there was 2 different processes, because the Tifton Farms was gonna take all the vegetative matter out.
They were gonna scrape and replace.
Correct. But yes, the end results work out to be exactly the same.
Yeah.
Maintenance, recommendations, everything. So.
Okay, thanks.
Any questions from the audience? Your name and address, please.
Christopher Saul, 1405 Claire Sage Lane. What happens in the meantime? I know there's winter break, but there are some games coming up. Do y'all have a plan for that?
There's a soccer field available right now that they're playing on.
Oh, it's just one field, it's not the whole.
It's not the whole thing, it's just, so this, if approved, then we'll have 2 soccer fields available for hopefully the end of the season and in the tournament season at the end. That's the goal anyway.
There are no further comments. Councilman Donahue?
Yes.
Councilman Williams is a yes. Councilwoman Alley?
Yes.
Councilman Schatzel?
Yes.
Councilman Najarian?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, Chief Poplar, please.
Council, ladies and gentlemen. During the month of November, the police department responded to 2,837 calls for police assistance. There were a total of 52 crashed reports written involving 94 vehicles and 4 pedestrians. Estimated amount of damage to these vehicles and related property was $264,603. Total of 213 traffic citations were issued, 260 traffic warnings were issued. We made 18 misdemeanor arrests, 8 felony arrests, 1 DUI. That's pretty much it.
Was there a DUI?
DUI was at John Sims and PNC Bank. It was a crash. They were at Vito's in Blue Water Bay where they were drinking.
Also coming back from Blue Water.
Any other questions?
That was a problem. Thanks, Chief. See, that time.
And I'd like to thank Chief Popwell for hosting Cocoa with a Cop this week. It was a huge success, had a great turnout, so thank you for doing that, Chief.
Did have a great turnout, right out of Cocoa.
All right, Chief Mayville, please.
Evening, Council. We're up to date with the activities of our fire department for the month of November. Fire department responded to 156 calls. 4 of them were overdose or poison with positive outcome on all 4 cases. And fire crews were busy with the home football games for Niceville High School. 2 of those, we had crews in the stadium for safety reasons. And we had crews around celebrating Veterans Day. Myself and Chief Popwell and Mayor Hinkle attended Ruckle, and it was a very nice event that was over there for the kids put on for Veterans Day. Battalion chiefs and crews were at the Presbyterian Church conducting fire drills with many other drills throughout the city, and teaching residents and children how to exit buildings and so forth, and what to do in case of any type of emergency they encounter. Also, department had Thanksgiving dinner at the station, and the city also supplied a big Thanksgiving dinner to the employees, and I want to thank you, Jonathan, for that. It was very nice. And then department, we had our ceremony for a push-in ceremony, and I'd like to thank council members that attended. That was very nice. I hope you enjoyed the history behind that. And basically, that's all we got.
Thank you.
Anything from the council?
Chief, I heard you say that there were poison calls, but any drug-related calls?
Those were drug-related and some poison pertaining to that. And it was, all 4 cases were positive outcome to all 4 of them. So you guys did an outstanding job in supplying medical care to the residents.
Thank you. Anything else from the council? Thank you.
Council, I believe that's all I have, or my team has, barring any questions from any of you.
Oh.
Thanks. Last and certainly least.
Thanks, Kathy.
Obviously, you had.
Come on up, come on up.
Almost got away with it. Almost got away with it. Short guy. Short, Jonathan.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Williams, Council, Mr. Dyke, Chief Popwell, Mayville, how y'all doing?
Better.
Ernie and the team is still waiting on parts to tackle the lift station number 56 on Ruckle Drive. We're doing that in-house. As I told y'all last month, we're gonna save about $48,000, so that's a great win for the team. We've also been doing lift station maintenance around the city, finally. We're still completing numerous water and sewer projects, or water and sewer taps, as long as we stay ahead of Live Oak Fiber. They're doing a great job staying ahead of those. There's been a lot of strikes, as you all know. 53 water calls, 22 sewer calls, 10 water taps, 5 sewer taps, 259 line spots, changed out 76 meters, and 344 service orders. Had a stormwater issue at Valpy Boulevard in St. Andrews, where we're starting hopefully after Christmas, first of the year. Have a sinkhole in the intersection there, replacing about 80 foot of pipe. We've been conducting our yearly stormwater maintenance, cleaning ditches and inlets. We completed a stormwater project at 207 Davis Drive and prepared a holding pond at Front Porch Circle. We are currently paving the area around Meigs Park, 1st Street, 2nd Street, 3rd Street, 4th Street, Park Avenue, Deer Street, Back Street. So that project should be done by Friday. It's gonna look really nice around that area. A great look for the new Challenger League we got coming, hopefully. That's a really good thing. So we also completed a small portion of 80th Street in front of Edge Elementary. We also been tearing down trailers and cleaning the area up around the mullet site. Looks really good there now. We also are still working with our engineers on the sidewalk projects on Palm Boulevard, the walk trail on Bay Shore Drive, the extension of Hill Lane, and a roadway improvement on Hart Street. Update on Mark Smith Boulevard, the water got tied in today, so the water is complete. They're halfway done with the force main, sidewalk will be next, and construction services looking to be done with that project no later than the middle of February. Highway 285, the final acceptance date is February the 7th. They won't be working from December 24th to January the 2nd due to Christmas and New Year's. That's not just for this project, now that's the whole state. So DOT shuts everybody down for the holidays. No state road work. Just something I want to give you a heads up on, it's looking like 2024, 25 area, something like that. But DOT called me Friday, we will have a pavement, another paving project on Highway 20 going from the Eglin back gate to tie into Edge Avenue where they started the last project. So all that'll be complete. They called Friday, they're 30% done with the plan so far. So we have a lot of conversations to do with them. Just want to give y'all a heads up on that. After Christmas at Mays Park, we'll be replacing the retaining wall around the park, cleaning that up, swapping out that old wall with new decorative block. So Ken and the team is going to start that as soon as they get Christmas down. The walkable Niceville signs. Talked to Greg Pope today. The signs are coming in slowly but surely. All the foundations should be installed by the 3rd week of January. And a final completion date of mid-February. I know Ms. Alley's been working on this 5 years, so good things coming. Parks team did a great job on decorating our City Hall complex. With the help of the next young lady I'd like to bring up, Ms. Lynn Waltz, could you come up, please? Come on. So this is my favorite part of my presentation every once a month is the employee spotlight, flash, shine, and penny. And this is Ms. Lynn Waltz, who has been volunteering her time since 1988 when she was doing this complex, or just picture taking, and it led to starting in 2007 doing the whole complex with Ken and his team. And I just want to tell her on behalf of Public Works, thank you. And I will really appreciate it. Merry Christmas.
Okay. Now we're done.
I do have a question.
Please.
I don't know if you can answer it or if you need to answer it. The reclaim pipes, clean out for the grass or whatever is growing in the pipes. What's the status of that?
You want me to take that one, or?
I got it, bro.
So we have ordered a 500-gallon tank. We're waiting to arrive. As soon as that tank's arrived, we'll be mixing up our Brizone treatment with it. And so it'll be a long process. We'll put out notes to everybody affected by it. And basically what we're going to do is a directional flush by turning the valves all through the system. So we'll treat the system, flush the system, treat the system, and flush it again. This time of year, we haven't had any calls here lately since last month because of the cold air, which is good. But this is something we're going to have to start doing 2 or 3 times a year that we're working with professors from Ohio on.
John, the building behind the front porch, is it down or when is it coming down?
Yes, I think Chief Mayville and Popwell want to do some training on it. As soon as they get done with that, before you guys change your mind, I'm going to get it down right to the first.
Can you let us know when it's going to come down? I would like to see it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I'd rather be in there for the training, so let me know when you do the training, guys.
We can arrange that. Papa likes shooting stuff, so.
But yes, it is coming down.
I anticipate you're getting it down in the first quarter of next year. And that is all, barring any questions, sir.
All right, Dan, you got other business?
Yes, White Hat Productions, they're here tonight.
State your name and address.
Matthew McKinnon, 1615 Ellis Drive, for Walton Beach, Florida.
Mark Wagner, 12 Country Club Drive, East Destin.
afternoon, council. We just come in, we'll make this as quick as possible. We can give you guys an update like was requested in the last meeting. Had a meeting with city council, city manager Gulch, and if there's anything else that came about, I would like to know it now. I mean, we had a pretty good meeting, and we were supposed to report to him as requested, and about parking, and we really made some great progress with that. So you guys should have that in front of you. We have some potential parking lots, and we've made really good contact with the college, so we're going to work some details out with him. Last time, there was an issue last time, but we're going to work that out with him. I've already talked to his campus police chief, and we're going to develop a plan as well. So we are definitely in the mood, or in the mode of getting the parking solved as much as possible. We haven't gotten there yet, but we are getting there, and we will update city manager every step of the way. And if there's any questions, please let us.
Councilman Najumi?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Good to see you both again. Parking, we have it on our books, so we see the spaces 1,000 or so around the college and a few others. Question for you, Dave. There was an issue about use of that land per our land use agreement with Eglin.
Yes, sir.
Profit versus nonprofit uses. Can you enlighten us on where we stand on that?
Yes, sir. Currently, both the license and the lease we have, and the lease, the larger lease that we are expecting to get in the future, will not allow for for-profit companies to come in and put on a revenue-generating event. Now, speaking with Matt earlier late last week, I guess it was, they do have a 501c3 that they could operate this Mullet Festival through. But I anticipate I'm still going to have to go back to Eglin to see if I can get a one-time 3-day lease for this event, because I think that in the latter years of the Mullet Festival, that's what was done in order to have alcohol sales. So I'm still exploring that option with Eglin right now. But as of right now, the current licenses and leases that we have and will have in the future by the time this event occurs, if it occurs, it would not be allowed to be put on by a for-profit entity.
So the workaround then, even if you declared to be a not-for-profit, I think the issue there is revenue generating.
Revenue generating alcohol sales.
Right, so regardless, there's gonna have to be some type of rider, for lack of a better term,
Yes,
on
sir.
the existing agreement
Yes, sir.
to allow us or them to operate as desired for that period of time.
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay. All right, and you couldn't find any of the existing paperwork for the previous?
Oh, I have the existing licenses and leases, and it all has this boilerplate language in there about no revenue generating events taking place.
Let me rephrase that. So obviously we did the Mullet Festival there for 37 some odd years, or how many years did it happen?
Sure.
What enabling language was used for that?
It was a 501c3 that ran the whole thing. And then again, my understanding in the last few years, there was an additional license for a 3-day period that allowed, that expanded the authorities that Eglin granted to us for the sole purpose of the Mullet Festival.
So again, I'm asking, you have that language then? So there's, you
Yes,
take that as
yes,
precedence and say this
yes,
is
sir.
exactly what we did in the past.
Yes,
We'd
sir.
just like to keep doing it.
Correct.
Okay. But instead of the Mullet Festival Committee, it'll be a 501c3 version of White Hat.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay.
If approved.
If approved.
I have a question. Last month, when you gave your briefing, I recall that the city manager said probably numerous times, what is the ask of the city? And he was concerned about personnel and equipment. So are you being satisfied with those answers coming in, Mr. Dykes?
Well, sir, as of right now, again, we had that meeting last week, and the only ask right now, as I understand it, is the use of the property and for my directors to serve in an advisory capacity only. The one outlier might be for a couple of police officers, but other than that, and please correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm misstating our conclusion was only the use of the property and only serving in the advisory committee during the planning process. But during the actual event itself, there would be limited participation by city employees, again, with the exception of a couple of law enforcement officers. Did I state that correctly?
Yes.
Any other questions?
Is there, do you anticipate coming back here next month or in 2 months, 60 days, and give us an update on this? I'm sure, surely you'll be meeting with the city manager just to iron out any glitches as we go forward on this.
We can come back every month.
As long as you want.
As long as you want. If it keeps you guys satisfied, we'll come every month all the way through, just to keep you updated.
I think that probably should go to the city manager first if you feel it's necessary to bring them back.
Yes, sir, I agree. If their need arises, I'll have them come back.
Because we would like to get moving on this, because like I said before, every day that goes by that we have some sort of hiccup, we lose artists, you know, and we want to go ahead and make the announcements. We want to make start getting things in place.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, John.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, council.
All right, looks like we're at, pay the bills. I have a motion on the floor, pay the bills.
Second.
So moved.
All
I
right,
got a couple of those.
you got more?
You know, on the agenda, the Prompt Payment Act and the accounts receivable. Yeah, the prompt, if I can, it'll take 2 minutes. Prompt Payment Act, it's an act that provides an annual requirement during the month of December to report interest payments to the debts paid on time. This is in accordance with Forest Section 218.78. I have to report that a total of $21,849,478.86 was paid, and no interest was paid on those expenses. And we're real proud of that. It doesn't require any approval, it's just information. On accounts receivable, good accounting practices require that we do not overstate our receivables. As a result, we annually declare our bad debts and remove them from our receivables. We can do that when we estimate the debt will not be paid. We have declared receivables for 2021 as bad debts. We propose to declare receivables for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2021 as uncollectible. We billed $12,429,222.72 in FY21 and received $12,389,950.27, which leaves $39,279.45, representing a 0.003159 bad debt rate. We have a collection agency we use to collect past due amounts. If customers move and they do not pay their final bill after a reasonable period of time, we follow up with them. Then we turn it over to the collection agency. So I request the council approve writing off this requested amount. Last year it was $35,922.17. So it is $3,357.28 more to write off this year. And so we'll take a motion and approve by the council to write them off.
Motion to write off the, I didn't get the exact amount, 38,000 and change, whatever amount that Mr. Doucette mentioned.
I'll second it.
Second by Councilman.
$39,279.45.
All right, discussion?
I have a question, Dan. Is there any analysis done from last year to this year to see why it's a little bit higher this year versus last year?
Well, we had more customers. That's one reason. So we got like 9,500 customers. So if they rejoin the system, we write them off, but we know that if they rejoin, we collect. So, but some people, well, it affects their credit, so we have a collection agency. Whatever they collect, we share the amount and keep 50% of it.
of the collection, what is the percentage that we are able to collect? Is there a percentage amount, 25%, 30%?
I can look into that.
I don't know that we've tracked that,
Okay.
but, I can have a look into that.
It was just curiosity to see, you know, if we turn it over, what do we actually get back once we turn it over to a private agency?
Right, we check that.
Any other questions? Any questions from the audience? Come forward.
We need to finish paying bills.
Yes, so, are you speaking
Oh,
on
okay,
this?
I just told me to come forward.
Are you speaking on this particular
Oh,
subject?
no.
Okay, just 1 second, sir, let's go ahead and take care of this. We'll go with the vote, Councilman Najoumian?
Yes.
Councilman Schatzel?
Yes.
Councilwoman Alley?
Yes.
Councilman Williams is a yes, Councilman Donahue?
Yes.
All right, so motion carries. Bills paid.
Now, no, that was still for accounts receivable. Now,
Accounts
motion to pay.
receivable.
Motion to pay the bills.
Second.
Second, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All. Oh, what did it say? Sorry. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, last on the agenda would be any additional comments from council?
I have just two. One's a question, and that is, what do you want to do with the score sheets?
We're going to, it's going to Amy Hanson.
Amy, okay, that's easy. And then just, I don't know from the comment section, but I just wanted to compliment all of our teams and our staff, and, you know, what was the lady's name, I'm sorry, who does the decorations here?
Ms. Waltz.
I'm sorry?
Ms. Waltz.
Ms. Waltz. It is, I can't tell you how many people who are not from here comment on what we've done on this campus right here. And what started as probably a very small idea has flourished into something that people drive from miles away to come see. And it is such a great statement and the pride that we have in our small town here. So thank you very much for that level of passion and care.
Anybody that's here that hasn't been out back, we have a gorgeous Santa sleigh for you to go take a picture in.
Check that out. That's it for me. Thanks.
I would echo Councilman Najoumian's comments to the beautiful lights that we put up every year around the city, and even down at the intersection of 85 and 20. We have some lights down there, and I'd also like to wish not only our city staff, but also the community a very Merry Christmas and a good New Year.
I just wanted to talk about Saturday. 11 in Heritage Gardens is Wreaths Across America. If you haven't gone to one of those ceremonies, it's very touching. Heritage Gardens marks all the veterans that are in the cemetery, and then you lay the wreaths after the ceremony. So if you can attend, please come and attend. It's 11 o'clock on Saturday at Heritage Gardens. Again, everybody, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, because we won't be back until 2024.
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Feliz Navidad, and Happy Kwanzaa to everybody.
Well, I just want to say that I know some were disappointed about not having a Christmas parade, but I just want to take my hats off to the Niceville Valparaiso Rotary Club for always doing a great job, planning months in advance to certainly have that be just a great event for all the entire community. And unfortunately, the weather just didn't cooperate with that. But I just want to thank them, as well as, you know, Jimmy Bosley and Debbie Lewis that do a wonderful job. And it takes, you know, I've done it myself, and it takes months and months in advance to take care of that. And I know they feel bad, just as bad as those kids that missed out on the parade. But I wanted to say thank you, and I want to thank the city council for actually let me be mayor pro Tem as much as I probably chopped it up this evening, but I am deeply honored and humbled that you put your trust in me to do this. So, comments?
Can I make one comment?
Yes.
Just so everybody knows who's out in the audience and all the ones that were slamming the city of Niceville for not having the parade. City of Niceville does not put the parade on. Rotary Club does, and they do a wonderful job, and they can control the weather, so I just wanted to say that.
Mr. Williams, if I would, the fire department is going in all the neighborhoods. And the Women's Republican Party and Randy Wise Homes donated money for candy. So the city is putting our fire trucks out. We're going through all the neighborhoods, throwing candy, and we'll make it your way. And the boat parade is Sunday at 5:30, and we'll be down there on the bay putting out candy to all the docks, people that are standing on the docks with Santa, with the Rotary Club.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate that too. All right, any comments from the audience? Yes, sir. Name and address?
Hey, my name is Craig Hamilton, 319 Glen Avenue, Valparaiso. Just trying to keep you guys updated and figure out if there's anything going on with the Mullet Festival. If you don't remember, I take care of the disc golf park up there at the Mullet Festival. I keep in close contact with Jim Bowman about any functions that are going on, and I liaise with the people that are having the functions and offer my help and any tools or equipment. And I clean up after they're done, and I make sure that the disc golf park is in good order. All volunteer, you get a really good deal. If disc golf and pickleball are the two biggest growing sports in the world right now. Most cities are making sure they have a disc golf park, and I keep hearing things about a committee thinking about what to do with the Mullet Festival property and this, that, and the other. I was just trying to, number one, remind you what a great value you get having that there without having to pretty much pay anything for it. I think you guys sprung for the second 9 baskets about 4 years ago, whereas Ace Hardware, the guys that run, the walkers that run Ace Hardware, put the first 9 baskets in with their donation in 2014. So I was just, like I said, trying to remind you about the great value that you get out of that from me. No complaints at all, but I was just trying to figure out if you had any plans for that space.
So let me just give you a little update. We're still working with Eglin, trying to get the long-term lease on all that property, so the sports field and the Mullet Festival. So if we are successful, we that disc golf course is there, and that will be heavily trying to be working to the master plan of what we will be able to develop out there. So there's no talk at this moment to take it out of the space. So that's kind of where we are. We're just on hold at the moment, waiting to get through the process with Eglin to get that long-term lease to be able to do capital improvement out there.
Okay. Now, that being said, if you do have some kind of issue where that is going to be shut down somehow, you're going to have about 150 people coming up here to protest it. But also, I would like to know if we can utilize the space where the trailers were torn down for the disc golf. I haven't asked Jim yet. Well, there's a few storage things out there, and the concrete stage is going to be there. But let's talk offline, and we can discuss ideas. Sure. I'm open to anything. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your feedback. We appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
Please state your name and address, and I should have mentioned earlier, there's 3 minutes for the...
Yeah, it'll take me 1
Yes.
second. Okay, 10, 15.
Did I go?
Tricia Brunson, at 2605 Edgewater Drive, 1 house outside city limits, and I do work at the Chamber of Commerce. And I just think this might be a good chance, can you hear me? Just to say, be careful when we move forward with any kind of festival. I actually I've talked to several of you individually, but please be careful. Think it through, talk to the business community, because residents are super important. That too supports our businesses and pays our taxes. However, I ran across some old original Mullet Festival stuff completely by chance. And it did, just remember that it started out as a family-centered hometown festival. And I will argue the point that that is what the people in Niceville are asking you for again. I'm not quite certain that they're asking you for a big music festival. So just be careful, because that is a very costly endeavor. And when in costly, I mean costly to city services. So just, I would say, take your time. Okay, there is no rush. Don't let anyone rush anyone. And I'll share this with you because it's pretty interesting. Because it was certainly family-centered, and not that I'm pro or against alcohol, but it had no alcohol. First go around, it had no alcohol. So anyway, I just wanted to say that. I'll talk to anyone about it that you want individually, but just be careful and be sure that you talk and have good deep conversations with all the right people. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate your comments.
Good evening, Rachel Reese, 1002 Alders Way. Nice to see you, Councilman Dunham. Nice to see you, Councilman Shazel again. And you did a fine job. As Mayor Pro Tem, things have changed. This year's gone really fast. I don't know if anybody's felt like that, but it's just sped by. And with the speed, seems the traffic on Cedar at my neck of the woods is also speeding up since the trees have been cut up in Cedar Ridge. Cars are going faster down Cedar. Cars turning into Cedar Ridge are now taking a wide berth and just not slowing down to come into Cedar Ridge. Since that time that the trees have been come down, the neighbor on the corner has put up a fence, I can only guess to keep her kids from getting out in the street and getting hit. But that has happened. One of my neighbors on Cedar Ridge has been run over. She was stepping out from Cedar Ridge, crossing Cedar, and a neighbor from the other side of Cedar came and didn't do it on purpose, but the traffic is sped up, and he ran over her. It was quite an accident. She's fine now, though. Another change in that time has been another neighbor who's not in the Cedar Ridge development, but on the east side of Cedar, decided that he'd take it on himself to cut all the trees and greens down in the house behind his house on the green belt. Again, more speeding up of what's going on in my neighborhood since the trees have been cut down and since the city has allowed various people to cut bits of our green belt down. So little by little, these things are speeding up, and now my end of town, instead of being a gentle, sweet little part of town where you just kind of mosey through, is becoming a thoroughfare, and it is not safe for pedestrians, as well as having lost its charm. I don't really have anything else to say, but I do agree with the idea that are we going to speed up? I will say, if you do have a mullet festival out on the mullet festival grounds, also Cedar becomes another thoroughfare, so that's another thing to consider. One last thing, if I've got a minute, more pedestrian issues. Right across from Ruffle, I was walking, doing a morning walk past the post office going north on Palm, and a very large truck came very close to my shoulder as I was on the, what I consider a sidewalk. It's a little asphalt patch on the east side of Palm there, to make a wide left-hand turn using the public right-of-way right up to the sidewalk so he can make a turn into that Ruffle, temporary access to the back of the band building. So we have a lot of considerations there. Maybe they could move the fence that's on the Ruffle property out so people can make a wider turn instead of having to come all the way up to a sidewalk. It's a little scary as a pedestrian to have a large truck come right up to your shoulder. So anyway, things are speeding up. Not everything that goes faster is better. They say that if a butterfly, whatever, flashes his wings or moves his wings in South America, that could affect rain in the northern hemisphere. Just think of what cutting down the trees off of Cedar and Cedar Ridge have done to our neighborhood so far. I'd like you to consider remediating that. Thank you.
Any other comments?
I'll make it quick.
Name and address?
Sam Powell, 636 Car Drive. So, hearing about the Mullet Festival and White Hat being here, I'm not really sure what they're all about, but one of my greatest memories ever was the Mullet Festival when it was on White Point, and it was a family thing. It was only in the daytime. They didn't have all the lights to go, probably some in town. The Mullet Festival out here, I would like to see it come back, and I kind of feel the same way you do. It doesn't have to be a big music production, just a family thing, the crafts, the food, the get together. If you're gonna sell beer, do it with beer tickets at the gate. The number of tickets people can have to get a beer. Or two, you know, they get drunk out in the parking lot, come in drunk, you can't do anything about that. But, you know, won't you make it happen? Because I speak for the class of 87, 88, 89, they all want it. And there's no telling who behind that wants it too.
Thank you.
Oh, Sam?
Thank you, Sam.
Yes, sir. Name and address?
Good evening. My name is Paul Reese. I reside at 1002 Alderwood Way. And I'm here tonight to speak for the trees that used to be on Cedar Ridge Way. And to discuss reason number 4 that was offered in October. And to see if there's a reason number 5 that we'll hear tonight. Why they can't be restored. To recap real quick, the first 3 reasons. 1, the street was buckling. 2, the roots are collecting the storm drain. 3, accidents. People are running into those trees. 1, the streets are buckling. No, there were pavers around those trees. The pavers are buckling. They could have taken a few pavers out, it would have been fine. 2, the roots are collecting the storm drain. The storm drain is on the east side of Cedar, not on the west side where the trees were. 3, there's accidents. I haven't found a single accident report to substantiate this claim. And now we get to reason number 4 that came up in October. Yeah, October. And that was, the fire department said, you can't turn down that road. And so, I missed November, doing research. It seems like fire trucks are very individualized, and it's hard to find what the turning radius of a truck is. So I thought, let's address it in the other way. There's lots of streets around Niceville that have impediments in the street dividing it into 2 lanes. There's lift stations, trees, bushes, raised medians, just all kinds of things. So I started out measuring those. I found out we could use a baseline of 13 feet. And that's measuring from edge of pavement to edge of pavement. I didn't include the ribbon curbs because they were somewhat different. I mean, they vary a bit. So, and I found out 13 feet. So let's go back to Cedar Ridge Way. Edge of pavement to edge of pavement is 44 feet. If we take out 4 feet for the trees, that would give us 20 feet. I can't tell you how much it was from tree to edge of pavement because they're gone, and I couldn't measure them. Anyway, dividing 40 feet by 2 leaves 20 feet. The interstate highway system mandates 12-foot lanes. I'm pretty sure fire trucks can manage an interstate lane at 12 feet. I don't see why they couldn't manage 20 feet that was on Cedar Ridge Way with the trees. So, I've got 30 more seconds. So, it looks like I have about 1 hour to talk between now and the next city election. I would like to get this resolved before then, so I don't have to make it an issue for that election. I've got other people that like to say, well, we could make that an issue for that. Anyways, thank you so much. And I did never meet with the city manager. He said, I'm not going to change my mind. Nothing you say or do is going to change my mind. And I was sort of depressed about that. I was like, oh, what a bummer. And then I thought, wait, it only takes 3 votes in an agenda item, and he will change his mind in a minute. So, thank you very much. I'll be back.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else?
Rachel Reese, 1002 Alderwood Way. About the Mullet Festival, I stopped going to the Mullet Festival years ago because I was a substitute teacher, and as such, I was a mandatory reporter. Kids would ask me, Mrs. Reese, are you going to the Mullet Festival? And I say, well, I'm a mandatory reporter. Here's what that means. It means if I see anything that shows that you are in danger of hurting yourself or harming someone else, I have to report it by law. Every kid I ever met said, Mrs. Reese, stay home. The reason was, there's a lot of drinking and whatever activity going by certain teenagers in this town. Not the least of which, my daughter, as a 14-year-old, was offered her beer by a vendor. She just was walking by and said, hey, would you like a beer? She said, no, thanks. But still, it is an opportunity for kids to get a little bit, who are unsupervised, to get out of control. You gotta think about that. I probably won't be going if it's gonna be like it was in the past. Because now, these days, not only teachers, but everybody is a mandatory reporter, which we probably all know.
Anyone else? Hearing none? This meeting is adjourned.
Sorry about that.
I'm looking for my keys. Bye, guys.
Bye.
As always.
Oh, how far is it turn? I think it's right down here. No doubt. Hey, I meant to ask you, your back is right.